Stellar Blade. Here you go. This is Soup's Jam. Shows single-player games how cosmetic distribution should be done. There's Soup's girl right there. Covered by chat. Stellar Blade is one of the biggest surprises of this year after it all but convinced skeptical onlookers that it was nothing more than a bit of eye candy with its seemingly exaggerated character models, and then turned out to be quite an enjoyable experience with challenging combat, stunning visuals, and rewarding exploration. In addition to its best gameplay quality, Stellar Blade has consistently made good on its promise to give players plenty of different cosmetic options for its protagonist, Eve, to wear as she fends off the growing Natba threat on a post-apocalyptic Earth. When it was released, Stellar Blade already included a wide variety of cosmetic options for players to unlock and craft as they played through the story. Players can then unlock more outfit variations for Eve by playing through the story a second time in Stellar Blade's new Game Plus mode. However, the game was released back in April and has received several updates since that have added even more cosmetic options to the already sizable list. As of today, there are over 70 different outfits for Eve to wear in Stellar Blade, setting it apart from other single-player games like it. However, it isn't just the amount of cosmetic options players have in Stellar Blade that makes the game so special, but the way these outfits are distributed to players that future single-player games should take note of and strive to imitate. One of the more distinctive characteristics of Stellar Blade and its post-launch strategy is that every major update made to the game so far has been free. It is a rarity nowadays that you buy a game outright and the content continues to come to you, especially not in a live service space. So it's more of a single player campaign styled game, and you just continue to get update free of charge, you know? I mean, all the way around in gaming, really, you know, even the live service space, especially, you know, one of the biggest examples of that is something like No Man's Sky, right? Every major update made to the game so far has been free, and that includes all the new cosmetics that have been added since its April 2024 release. Every major update has given players access to new outfits for Eve and her team, and based on what has been revealed so far, Stellar Blade developer Shift Up has no intention of ever charging players for future cosmetic additions. These didn't mean to do that. These are the developers that really people should be taking note of, you know. I'll touch more on my sentiments here about a developer like this in a moment. So far, the only outfits players have had to pay for are those found in the Digital Deluxe edition of Stellar Blade: the Stargazer suit for Eve, Adam and Lily, the Stargazer pack for the drone, the half-rim glasses, and the quadruple rectangle earrings. This means that players are able to obtain nearly all of Stellar Blade's outfits simply by playing the game, making it rare among the growing library of single-player games that don't apply the same approach. Despite Stellar Blade's persistence in offering players free cosmetic options, the same can't be said for all single-player games. Most of them, by the way. Makes some sense for multiplayer games to charge for cosmetics, as these games are generally live service games and are often filled with players who want to look their best when they step out onto the battlefield. There's also a difference, though. Is that live service game free? Is it at a low price point? Or are you paying a AAA price tag for a live service game that is then also riddled with monetization? Because all the way across that spectrum, there's acceptable to literally just maudlingly disgusting. And we've talked a lot about it. Live service games, obviously, there are a lot of great examples of how to do it very well, and a lot of examples out there how to do it very poorly. Yeah, live service games, first and foremost, are supposed to be developed upon the premise of building a player base. And one of the first indications that a game is, you know, a developer is not very concerned with player base is if that game is being pushed out at a AAA price tag and is just riddled with monetization too. That tells you they're not real worried about player base. The game's probably not built for the long haul, and they're just trying to recoup development costs. More than likely. Maybe not always, but more than likely. Single-player games, on the other hand, arguably have no place charging players for outfits, and yet they do. Or even doing things like building a game's mechanics in a single-player campaign around trying to make you feel like you're going to have a better quality of life if you buy into microtransactions. Dragon's Dogma 2! Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed series comes to mind, as it has recently sold DLC outfits that only the players who purchase them can appreciate. Stellar Blade, however, refuses to charge its players for outfits that no one else will see, but perhaps friends and family who may occasionally glance at their screen. Future single-player games can stand to learn quite a bit from Stellar Blade's cosmetic distribution strategy, especially considering how positively it has affected Stellar Blade's player base. In fact, Stellar Blade's recent summer update saw a 40% increase in its active players, and it has yet to charge a single dime for updates such as this one. If future single-player titles were to take after Stellar Blade in their offerings of vanity, perhaps the whole idea of cosmetic DLC wouldn't leave such a bad taste in the mouth anymore. What a novel idea, right? Interesting. We talk about this a lot. I think that you talk about Shift Up here and what they've done with this game. I am not going to lie to you. I originally was very skeptical about the fact of what the gameplay in Stellar Blade was actually going to be like. I haven't played it yet, but obviously it's pretty solid. I also thought this was going to just be an eye candy game and pretty shallow gameplay aspects. You know, it was hard to not look at it like that, really, because a lot of what it was being promoted as was, you know, a very sexualized experience for, you know, skimpy outfits and a main character that was modeled after a Korean model and things like that. Come on, right? But a big old but. If you haven't seen Eve run, you know. But they apparently did very, very well with this game, gameplay wise, and I'm so happy. And to hear about a company, a developer, yo, what's up, dude? What's up, Cash? 7 stream streak. We're good. Beat you. I don't have a problem admitting whenever I'm wrong. I don't have a problem admitting when I'm wrong. You know, I think that a lot of, I know you're trolling me a little bit. A lot of us have gotten to a point with a lot of things in the industry that we've become just skeptical of things by nature because of the ways we've been duped in the past, you know. Only when it comes to soup? No. Oh, that is not true. Oh, true. You're so out of your mind. Men are sexualized in games all the time. And the standards set for men are just as absurd for us as it is for women in video games. No doubt about it. Yeah. Only when it comes to soup. That's not true. I give soup kudos all the time. But yeah, Soup and I troll each other a lot. And I'll admit when I'm wrong about things. I do. Like for instance, I mean, I think one of the last, you know, games other than, you know, I was skeptical of Stellar Blade. I wasn't sure about it. But I was really, really skeptical of something like what was it, Atomic Heart. I really wasn't sure that Atomic Heart was going to be worth anything at all. And apparently it was pretty decent, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, dude, just let's True. Go look at all the characters in Lost Ark, okay? All the women and all the men. You know? Right? I mean, it's like I think that the thing is that society has gotten us to just look at women as being the ones that are sexualized all the time. But in entertainment, dude, men are sexualized as well. And especially in like generated images and stuff, you know. Oh, you're so full. You're just throwing that flipping lighter fluid out there. You're so full of it, dude. Don't you have a taxi to drive or something? Yeah. Oh, bro, stop it. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. You want to cook this rerun? Yeah, I don't think that I would deny. I think that women are probably more sexualized than men. I don't think I would deny that. But men are definitely sexualized to a great extent as well. There are a lot of standards where, you know, it's just really just absurdly unachievable for us, you know. Well, right, yeah. Again, I mean, that's not uncommon, you know. I mean, you know, video games have been doing this to the human form, I think, for a long time, right? The human form. I think that it's exacerbated to a greater extent probably for women, right? Get involved, get him. But I mean, go look at any fighting game. Go look at all the Street Fighter characters. You know what I mean? Even E Honda, which is like one of the chubbier characters in Street Fighter, is flipping yoked, okay? Like, I mean, it's just insane. All the characters, and I mean women as well. But the dudes, it's just unachievable. You know what I mean? I ain't never seen a fat dude as a PC. Oh, I don't know about that one. But I mean, like, even from back in the day, I mean, look at like Duke Nukem, you know? I think that's probably part of it, true. Yeah. David Diver? Yeah, he does! Oh, Gibraltar and Apex, large and in charge? Yeah. Like I said, I mean, you know, it's not like we haven't had more realistic looking characters in entertainment as well, right? But I think that in large part, most of the time, characters are very sexualized. They're unrealistically, you know, most often unrealistically, unachievably, you know, sexualized, you know, or built to be viewed as just insanely. If it's dudes, they're like 6'5", 6'6", just flipping jacked out of their minds, and all they do is just carry around a flipping broadsword that's 2 times their body, and they just eat all day long. You know what I mean? And then women, obviously, you know, it's like they've got a -2 waist, they've got a 36 bust. You know, it's like, I mean, you know, it's like, it's just, it's been that way. But I don't think that there's a huge difference. I really don't think there's a huge difference in women and men being portrayed in unachievable, unrealistic manners within entertainment, you know. Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah, yeah. Mario's fat versus character size. he's thick, dude. We don't say that, all right? Yeah. Too many of us around here are thick. We don't say fat. So I wouldn't disagree with the fact that I think that probably women are you know, more you know, sexualized in entertainment than men are, but it definitely happens to men too, no doubt about it, for sure. Going back to this, I think that, you know, Shift Up has definitely gotten into my good graces with showing that, you know, they can make a very, very quality video game, and it can be based on the premise of something like this, and they're not worried about microtransactions. That's a very, very big deal. I mean, in today's day of gaming, that's a very big deal, right? And this is what I would also say. One of the things that I try to implore people on a lot is, if you find a developer doing good things, there's nothing wrong with finding another way to support them or whatever, right? If they have any way to support them through microtransactions or whatever the case may be, then, you know, by all means, support those devs, support the good devs. But, you know, it feels like all too often there are so many devs out there that aren't worth supporting, and all they do is just riddle their content with transactions that are unnecessary, you know. So I think that when you take a look at a developer like Shift Up, and they're giving you so much content and all of these things that you would see most other developers add as a microtransaction, if you're getting an excessive amount of gameplay out of this, you're replaying this game a lot or whatever, and you know, how many hours have you gotten? Is it worth potentially looking at giving them a little bit more because you really appreciate what they've done, and the fact that they're doing good things and they're not charging you for, you know, things that so many of these other developers would try to scum you out of, you know? Maybe. Make me look like a twig? I'm not the biggest dude in the world, but I'm getting thick. Yeah. So I like this. This is a good article right here, and brought up some good topics for us to talk about as well. And I love. I mean, in all honesty, I really don't have an issue backtracking on maybe a sentiment that I'll say this. I've gotten pretty good, man. I've gotten pretty good over the years at being able to pick out games that are worth being hesitant on, suspicious of, and telling people to maybe you should wait until it comes out and stuff. And I think that it was worth being a little bit hesitant on this game because it was just so overtly sexualized in its promotion and marketing that I think that for somebody like me that's worried about gameplay first and foremost, that's where I was at with this. I was always concerned about where the gameplay was going to be whenever that's where all this was. The promotion and marketing was always about just, look, it's Eve. She's based on a model. Look at how hot she is. And, you know, it's like, Jesus Christ, cool. Is the gameplay going to be good? You know? So, I'm not sorry about having reservations about that. I'm not. I am very, very excited that they made a great game mechanically and gameplay-wise. I think that's awesome. To go along with this premise of trying to get people in here and be engaged in a visual experience that is very pleasing for people, I think that's great, right? That's cool. But it's been all too often where developers have done this kind of thing and baited people into buying games that just on a visual premise where the game itself isn't very good. Just visually appealing. That's it. So I won't apologize for being a bit reluctant on that premise, you know. But I'm glad that they pulled this off. I'm glad they did well. And Shift Up will continue to be a developer that will be in my good graces, and I'll look towards for future games and stuff, you know. No doubt.